Yang, a young vehicle export trader, slammed his skewer tray down with red eyes and asked his senior partner Joe, sitting across the barbecue table. "I stay at port supervising vehicle loading till midnight every day, camp out at freight forwarders on weekends to fight for row ship space, and reply to client emails faster than food delivery messages. So why haven't I made even 100,000 RMB after a year and a half in this trade? How did you pull in millions within 3 years? Are you hiding exclusive supply channels from everyone?" Joe twisted his barbecue stick without lifting his head and hit him straight with a harsh truth. "With your habit of grabbing every single order and jumping blindly onto every market hype, you'll struggle to turn a profit even after another 3 years. Yang was about to slam the table to argue when Joe locked eyes with him, his tone calm yet cutting deep. "Don't brag about how hard you work just yet. Let me ask you one thing. What real edge do you have to earn $1 million in this industry? Is it those get-rich-quick tricks you scroll through on short videos for 3 hours daily? The fancy rented office and gilded business cards you use to fake success? Or your fragile mindset that panics at any client price cut and loses sleep for 3 whole days over a rejected order?" He nodded at stacks of empty cartons under the table and spoke slowly. "Most traders fail to make money in auto exports. Not because they lack market chances or orders, but because they're holding a leaky bamboo basket. You rush to pour orders and payments inside non-stop, yet cash keeps draining away through flawed trade terms, wrong customs paperwork, weak risk control, and neglected after sales costs. The faster you fill the basket, the more money slips through the cracks. You think success depends on busying yourself non-stop and chasing more shipments, but the real game is sealing every hole in your basket first before anything else." This scene will feel familiar to most of us. We're constantly hunting new buyers, vehicle supplies, and cheaper freight quotes, diving headfirst into this industry, seeing yearly surging export figures. Yet few dare to admit it. Your first million from auto exports never comes from lucky big orders or endless overtime. It only arrives naturally once you master every workflow, lock down all risks, and plug every profit leak. The core rule boils down to one simple word: focus. Spend quiet time learning procedures, managing risks, and fixing your weak spots, instead of running around aimlessly. This Yang I'm talking about isn't a total newbie. He came to chat with me last year. After 18 months in the game, he's collected contacts for hundreds of freight agents and overseas dealers and visited all major coastal ports, outworking most peers around him. But when we tallied up his total profit recently, he couldn't even save 100,000 RMB. 3 batches of vehicles he shipped last year all lost money. One shipment got stuck at the port for half a month because of one wrong digit on the VIN in customs papers, with detention fees eating up half his profit margin. Another client only put down a 10% deposit before he released the cars, and the final payment dragged on for over 3 months. Factoring in capital interest, that whole deal earned him nothing. For the third batch, he messed up quotation rules and left out all destination port clearance fees in his contract, meaning he lost money on every single vehicle sold. All in all, he lost nearly 60,000 RMB, wasting more than half a year's hard work for nothing. Yang's story is far from unique. After the first half year data hit 5.096 million exported vehicles, half my contacts shared posts celebrating China's top global export volume, while the other half whispered privately about their struggles. Even with the booming overall market, most traders either squeeze tiny profit margins or stumble into endless hidden pitfalls, gaining more troubles than actual cash. Many newcomers rush into the industry after seeing monthly export figures top 1 million units without even knowing what a VIN or certificate of origin is, only to have their first shipment detained overseas for 3 months. Others copy incomplete online guides to quote FOB prices, leaving out ocean freight insurance and destination port charges, realizing they lose money per unit right after signing contracts. Today, we skip empty slogans and grand industry theories. We'll break down the first half export reports of China, Japan, and South Korea from real frontline operation perspectives, explaining why ordinary traders easily lose money amid a booming market where genuine vehicle export profits lie, which invisible loopholes drain your earnings, and how to seal your bamboo basket tight to grab steady gains amid market booms. Let's start with the latest official stats. Japan exported around 2 million finished vehicles in the first half. South Korea hit 1.41 million, while China reached 5.096 million. Our domestic port shipment volume alone surpasses Japan and South Korea combined, leading many to claim China is the undisputed global leader in auto exports. This statement holds partial truth, yet it overlooks a critical counterintuitive fact we need to clarify today. These numbers only track cars manufactured locally and shipped out of domestic ports. Japanese and Korean automakers operate countless overseas assembly plants worldwide, and vehicles built and sold locally in foreign countries never count toward their home export statistics. To draw a simple analogy, imagine you run a car dealership selling 20 cars daily at your main store, plus another 15 at a branch shop in another city. If people only count sales from your main store and claim you underperform a rival with just one shop selling 25 cars a day, that comparison is obviously one. Cited Japanese car brands built factories across North America, Southeast Asia, Europe, and even China decades ago, building fully globalized production, sales, and after-sales networks. Falling domestic export volumes often stem from deliberate strategic adjustments, not weak sales performance. Loads of new entrants get carried away by the world's #1 exporter headline, assuming they can earn easy cash just by shipping a few cars. Once they compete against established brands overseas, they quickly realize decades of built local channels and brand reputation can't be beaten with cheap pricing alone. Just as Joe told Yang, "Don't envy rivals who ship fewer vehicles. Their baskets have 0 leaks, so they keep every cent they earn." Our massive shipment volume hides constant profit leakage, so our actual net gains aren't as impressive as the data suggests. At its core, full vehicle export isn't merely selling cars. It's delivering a complete end-to-end logistics service chain from factory to end buyers. Think of every exported car as a cross-country furniture delivery job. Your duty doesn't end once you load goods onto a truck bound for the client's building. You must arrange delivery upstairs, assemble everything, and provide repair support later if items break. Ro-ro shipping only completes 1/3 of the whole export journey. The remaining clearance, certification, warehousing, distribution, maintenance, and spare parts supply all carry real costs and high entry barriers. Most rookies misunderstand auto export as simply finding an overseas buyer, receiving payment, and shipping vehicles, with clients handling all port pickup themselves, identical to domestic car sales, except for ocean transit. That's completely wrong. Domestic buyers can visit local 4S shops for fast repairs and quick spare parts delivery, but if you don't set up spare parts warehouses and authorized repair networks overseas, a broken bumper will force clients to wait 2 months for supplies shipped from China. That customer will never buy your vehicles again and warn all local contacts against your brand. Overseas brand reputation takes 10 times faster to ruin than to build. One unresolved repair complaint can erase positive feedback from 100 shipments. This explains why major Chinese automakers race to build overseas factories now. Not because domestic production capacity overflows, but because pure CBU export alone becomes harder to sustain long-term. Take BYD as an example. It once relied fully on complete vehicle exports a few years back, yet has launched assembly plants in Thailand, Brazil, and Hungary recently, with models specially calibrated for local road conditions. Many small traders think these factories waste big corporate budgets, but quick cost math exposes the logic. The EU is rolling out anti-subsidy tariffs. Once duties jump 10 to 20%, Chinese vehicles shipped directly from home lose all price advantages. Local manufacturing bypasses tariff barriers, slashes spare parts. Lead times from months to days, speeds up after-sales response, and stabilizes sales volumes. CICMG built central spare parts warehouses and certified repair stations in Europe years ahead of competitors, even localizing infotainment systems, which lets it hold firm in Europe's ultra-competitive auto market. These major brands follow the same playbook Japanese and Korean manufacturers pioneered decades ago: open markets via exports first, then lock in market share with local production and after-sales support. China's auto sector moves faster through this transition, yet we still have every foundational step to complete. Big brand strategies apply equally to small trade firms and independent operators. I know a vehicle exporter working at Xinjiang border ports. Once Joe's apprentice who fell for this costly misunderstanding last year. A Central Asian client ordered 5 gasoline pickup trucks and requested door-to-door delivery to their inland warehouse. The trader carelessly quoted a lower price than competitors and signed the contract, mistakenly believing delivery only meant handing cars over to the client's forwarder at the border. When vehicles arrived at the port, the buyer pointed out the DDP term in the contract, demanding the trader cover all customs clearance, import tax, and inland transport 500 kilometers away to their warehouse. Panicked, he reviewed the contract and realized he never grasped the differences between international trade terms. He had to hire local clearance agents, spending over 30,000 RMB on taxes and delivery fees, plus extra detention charges, losing more than 20,000 RMB total on the 5 trucks. When he reviewed the loss with Joe later, he admitted he once thought export profits only came from price spreads. Yet this huge loss taught him every word within trade terms translates to real financial liabilities and costs. Misunderstanding them creates the biggest profit leak in your basket. Speaking of trade terms and quotation costing, I'll share a simple step-by-step calculation method all senior traders like Joe use. No complex formulas required. Calculate every order following the full supply chain sequence. Start with vehicle procurement cost. Add domestic trucking fees from dealership factory to port, plus customs filing, port handling, and loading expenses. This total equals FOB price. All costs and risks belong to you until cars board the ro-ro vessel. All charges and liabilities after departure shift to the buyer. If the client asks you to cover sea transit, add ocean freight and marine insurance on top. If they want delivery to destination port warehouses, factor in overseas clearance fees, import tariffs, and local inland transport, then add your target profit margin, plus a minimum 5% risk reserve to offset exchange rate swings and unexpected freight hikes. Most new traders underquote because they skip later stage expenses, only tallying car cost plus shipping, leaving zero profit once all hidden charges surface. Another non-negotiable step is paperwork verification. Before every shipment, cross-check 4 core documents: commercial invoice, packing list, certificate of origin, and COC, against each car's VIN one by one, matching frame number, model, displacement, and production date perfectly without a single wrong digit or letter. Don't cut corners here. I've seen countless shipments stuck overseas over one mistyped VIN digit, generating massive detention fees while waiting for revised documents mailed from China, with all losses falling solely on the exporter. Looking back, nearly every trader who loses money or faces shipment disasters does so due to pre-existing flaws in their industry knowledge and operation workflows. Exactly that leaky bamboo basket Joe described. You can't retain earnings if you leave holes unsealed. The most common mistake is chasing market growth without evaluating personal capacity limits. Witnessing rising export data, rookies rush to stockpile vehicles and advance large capital up front without stable buyers, stuck with idle inventory and broken cash flow, forced to sell cars at steep discounts to recover partial funds. A second widespread flaw is poor risk control. To win orders, many traders accept just a 10% deposit before shipping full containers, promising final payment against a copy of the bill of lading after departure. Once vessels sail, buyers stall payment with endless excuses or abandon shipments entirely. Return shipping fees often exceed vehicle values, forcing traders to offload cars cheaply overseas and lose their principal investment entirely. Weak compliance awareness forms the third major pitfall. Most new traders barely research target country import standards, including mandatory local vehicle certification, emission rules, and safety benchmarks. They ship any available vehicle without proper documentation, resulting in cargo seizure upon arrival, mandatory return shipping, or even full destruction with no room for remedy. Simply put, full vehicle export covers a lengthy chain with over a dozen interconnected links: sourcing vehicles, negotiating buyers, preparing paperwork, customs declaration, ocean shipping, overseas clearance, and after-sales service. One broken link ruins all prior work, and anyone chasing fast profits will inevitably suffer painful losses. At this point, many newcomers will ask if the industry carries too much risk for new entrants to join. But that's not the case. Joe started with basic entry-level tasks back in his early days, and I'll share a zero-cost actionable plan for anyone wanting to break into vehicle export trade, requiring no large capital, overseas buyer contacts, or established industry connections. Skip rushing to source cars or close orders first. Find a local vehicle export freight forwarder or trading firm, and start with basic document sorting and port tracking work. Learn to draft customs invoices and packing lists. Cross-reference data against vehicle COCs. Shadow port loading procedures. Observe ro-ro vessel supervision. And break down every port charge item by item. Noting all paperwork required before customs filing. Spend half a month consistently visiting ports and learning these foundational tasks, and you'll master the entire domestic export workflow thoroughly with zero investment while building valuable industry contacts. Once you fully grasp front-end operations, start reaching out to buyers and drafting accurate quotations to avoid rookie blunders like misinterpreting trade terms in signed contracts. Too many new traders aim for million-dollar bulk shipments right off the bat without knowing basic port workflows, guaranteeing costly mistakes. Take things slow and steady, master basics before chasing big orders, and seal small leaks in your profit basket before filling it with shipments. Returning to the China, Japan, and South Korea export figures, these three datasets mark three distinct stages of automotive global expansion, mirroring every individual trader's business journey. Japan has completed full global industrial layout. Domestic exports serve only as supplementary sales channels, supported by worldwide production, sales, and after-sales networks with strong risk resistance. Fluctuations in home export volume barely impact overall market share, just like veteran traders with fully sealed profit baskets earning consistent, stable income. South Korea sits in the middle stage, relying heavily on single markets, like the US for export revenue with unbalanced overseas manufacturing layout, leaving its trade vulnerable to sudden tariff policy shifts. Recent US tariff hikes directly dragged down its first-half export performance, no matter how advanced its electric vehicle lineup grows. This matches traders with 2 to 3 years experience holding fixed clients yet lacking diversified market channels, facing heavy losses amid policy or market shocks due to unaddressed large profit leaks. China currently transitions from rapid export volume growth to deep local overseas development. Our complete new energy industrial chain, fast product iteration, and tight cost control pushed first-half shipments past 5 million units, with full-year volumes likely hitting 10 million, a pace unprecedented in global auto manufacturing history. Still, we must stay realistic. Soaring shipment numbers haven't been matched by fully built overseas service networks, strong global brand recognition, and widespread local manufacturing capacity. A true global automotive powerhouse isn't measured by how many cars you ship from your home country, but how many nations host your factories, distribution channels, and loyal customer bases who associate your brand with reliability, rather than low prices alone. The same rule applies to every individual exporter. Stop envying peers landing huge orders or feeling anxious over booming industry data. Focus on delivering quality for every single shipment. Lock risks down across all links and fix every profit leak in your operation. Quietly build your core expertise instead of chasing fleeting market hype. The 5 million plus first-half export figure is a worthy achievement, yet it also serves as a critical reminder. We've taken the right path, but the toughest competition lies ahead, for both the whole industry and every individual auto export trader. Don't get overconfident from impressive statistics, nor discouraged by temporary setbacks. Prioritize proper risk control and client after-sales support for every shipment over blindly chasing larger cargo volumes. Vehicle global expansion is a long-term marathon, where sustained stability and endurance beat fast initial starts every single time. That wraps up today's video. At Chehiu, we specialize in full vehicle export, breaking down real-world international trade rules to help you steer clear of costly overseas shipping pitfalls. Wishing all fellow auto exporters steady orders and consistent profits.